is saying if you live life the right way and think the right way and have, good energy intentions of that, you will never need any of this because nothing could get close to you. And I agree with that. If you do that, live an ideal way, nothing like that will, because you're completely out of frequency. You're not, you're completely out of tune with that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But I said, okay, let me grab somebody off the street here, a complete stranger with no knowledge at all, no practice, no spiritual knowledge at all, and how long will it take you to train that person so that they will be in a position where they're going to be out of the reach of negative forces? And he said, probably about 3 years.
Wow.
I said, well, the majority of, negative attacks on people happen suddenly. You're sometimes at the wrong place at the wrong time. You go to a haunted place or something, and you pick something up because you're sensitive. And you pick something up, and then, boom, you are rendered incapable of doing anything, of learning anything, even of like reading a book, because you can't concentrate for long enough to read more than a couple of pages, because the onslaught of the pressure can be so intense, so you can't do anything to help yourself. And therefore, if you don't know what to do about it. Now, most of my methods in that book, and they've evolved a lot since that book, I'm actually planning on revising it, are practical things that help. For example, how scary is this? The majority of psychic entity negative attacks that you could experience can be broken instantly by crossing running water or jumping in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Running water generates quite a powerful electromagnetic field that strongly interferes with the delicate energies involved in a negative type attack. And time and time, for example, if you're out somewhere and you go to a haunted museum or something like that, and because you're sensitive, you pick something up and it latches onto you. Pardon me. Then, and if you go home, for example, and you're in the room and these bad things are happening in that, and you don't know what to do, so you stay in the room. Rule number one in my book is leave the room. Don't stay in an area where you're under attack. Jump in the shower, cross running water, find a garden hose, a water main in the street, something, a stream, stand over it because it interferes with the energies. And when you first come under a negative invasion like that, it's always at its weakest. And just crossing a garden hose on the ground, gushing water, boom, you go from one side of that hose, take one step over it, it stops instantly. And by stopping, you could be experiencing cramping pains in your body, cold shivers, which make it difficult to walk. You could be really in trouble. And one step over the hose, and it stops instantly. Then you take one step back over the hose, and it starts again. So you go back over the hose, it stops again. And you put 1 foot back over it, and it starts again. You think, there's something on the other side of that hose. I can't see it, but it's biting me. It's doing, and on this side, I'm fine. So you walk away and you don't recross it, and you leave it behind you. You've solved the problem by knowing that running water messes with these things. Now, if you get something a bit stronger, let's say crossing running water like that level isn't stopping it, because the second level of attack, you could say negative invasion, is you could say it goes from your feet area, which is where it starts always, and it slides up, you could say, the outer edge of your aura, and it uses you to shield it from the running water on the ground. Now, at this stage here, you need to get into a shower and have lots of running water going over your entire body. And I recommend a visualization of like brilliant white fluid filling you and running that through your body. And whatever prayers on that you want to add to that according to your beliefs. But the running water itself generates a powerful electromagnetic field which cleanses your body and anything that's attached to it, because even in stage 2, like it's up on your aura edge somewhere, your energy field somewhere, away from the ground, that is vulnerable to larger amounts of running water. And the techniques I use go on from there, various ways of using electromagnetic fields and that. I've solved problems by, for example, children. One child I worked with a couple of years ago, what we'd tried a bunch of things with, and nothing seemed to work. And then they rearranged the child's bedroom to get more light in, because I always recommend a thorough spring clean, decluttering, and that as as the first action to take. And I finally got them to do that, or they rearranged it, and it stopped completely what was a significant negative type attack. Monsters in the cupboard, poltergeist phenomena, screaming children every night, pretty bad. And then it stopped. And I looked at it and asking the right questions after several emails on that. I said, well, what have you done? And it turned out there was, they'd moved the child's bed to the other side of the room, and the child had a lamp by the bed, and they had this power extension cord going across the room. Now, when they moved the bed, they moved it next to the power point, and they jumbled up this power cord underneath the child's bed. They just kicked it out of the way. Mm-hmm. Now, that caused enough of an electromagnetic field to stop the problem the child had. Nothing could come near it. And going further into electromagnetic fields into grounding, for example, the case I had several months ago, long after I wrote that book, of course, a little lass I've been helping for a few years now. She's about 4 years old, had most horrific problems every night. Couldn't sleep in her own room at night time, had to be with Mum. It was just ongoing. And we tried everything, very good parents, we did everything. And after a couple of years of me helping them, this child's bedroom was like a shrine. The walls were painted a special colour. They were washed with herbs and, beautiful colours, pictures of religious pictures and statues around the room, a couple of running water features, herbs and flowers in the room, lots of flowers. And the child would go to bed and put on a special robe which had sacred symbols on it, a special pair of socks which had little pouches in them for putting salt in and that, because salt helps. Everything I knew that helped. And the frequency and severity of the attacks reduced probably by 75%. This is everything I knew at the time. And then I got on to grounding, how that works. And the mother, at my advice, she got a bed sheet, which is a grounding substance like silk. And you use a little alligator clip and you plug that into either a wall outlet, the grounding outlet, or you clip it to a water pipe or something that's grounded for water pipe or tap. Mm-hmm. And she bought another one that went over the bed and clipped in there. Child went to sleep, and a couple of nights nothing happened. And then the little girl comes running out in the morning. She's about 7 now, lovely little girl, and runs out and says, Mummy, guess what? And she said, what? She says, last night the monsters came again, and they came through the wall like they always do, and they come up to me, we're going to get you, little girl. And I started to cry, and then he got sucked into the silver sheets and never came back. And I'm going, yes! Wow, there's one for the good guys. And, this is beautiful. This knowledge is so hard to get. You have to walk it and experiment to find it. But these things have weaknesses. Now, for all intents and the purposes, all negative entities of spirit, energies, whatever you want to call them, whatever they are bound to the surface of the earth, and they cannot cross running water. They cannot cross a heavy grounding, something which is like a deep earth. It's like there's this energy field over the surface of the earth, which these things exist in, a narrow energy field. And they cannot face running water or any kind of deep grounding that kind of earths them to the planet and demanifests them. So this is a principle I've been working on for many years, and amongst other things, but it keeps coming back to electromagnetics and grounding. I've had this debate with physicists on this who've been very, very helpful, and that's where the grounding ideas come, because they said, hey, if running water works as well as you say it does, and theoretically electromagnetic grounding, electromagnetic fields would also work. So I started experimenting with that, and hey presto, it works.